and 5 minutes from now they should be done. Welcome to Education and Safety. I'm Mike, and today we are out on the boardwalk. 60 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit. No winds, maybe a slight breeze that moving, but other than that, everything's great. You say, well, how can it feel so warm? How can it feel like it's 70 or 80 degrees? Well, when you're at 2,000 to 3,000 feet above sea level, you're closer to the sun. And those extra sun rays is actually creating warmth and heat on your face, your body, and so forth. So let's keep going. All right. So today's weather condition is absolutely optimal. To climb that shark fin today would be perfect. Early morning, temperatures in the 30s. By the time you get to the top, it'll be 45, 50 degrees. By the time you get to the very, very top, about 60. Now there's going to be wind up there, 15 miles an hour, maybe 35. But it's going to be a beautiful day. And that's the difference between here and there and down there. So here is here, say 60. Up there, say 38. And down there, towards the strip of Las Vegas, Nevada, let's just say 65. On the other side of town, towards Boulder City, maybe even 68. So the temperature changes is drastic. And during the wintertime, Mount Charleston gets about 700 inches of snow. Now as you get out to the point of the boardwalk, Hummingbird Springs, Red Spring, Sand Spring, Red Rock Springs. Pick your choice. Whatever floats your spring. Because a million years ago it was named something else. 20 million years ago it was named something else. You know, this used to be called the Pacific Ocean. Maybe it was called just the ocean. Maybe it was called the wave. Maybe it was called just whatever. So pick your name, whatever you like. Enjoy yourself. So we'll keep going. No wildlife yet. Just humans. That's it. Now we're coming out to the point where that's Red Spring, Hummingbird Springs. Summertime, there's hummingbirds here. Lizards in these trees right here all the time. So when you sit down, always look before you sit, because you might find a 2-3 footer sitting there, and you'll be sitting right next to them. And then you have all kinds of birds out here, but today, no activity. Things aren't looking a little damp and wet. Over there, they're a little damp and wet, but not right here. I hear some birds chirping. Rattlesnake territory. I wouldn't be surprised if they're underneath the boardwalk, sleeping for the winter. They could even be inside that cave. So that's why going in caves is not a cavey kind of idea. I don't see any chipmunks. No little ground squirrels. No birds are feeding. It's a beautiful day today. Let's keep. I call this the Yoja area. It's really nice. You can come out here with a mat early in the morning, do some stuff. I don't know if I come out here by myself, because if you're the first one out here on the boardwalk, and there's critters crawling around and mountain lions and everything else, well, you're laying on the ground moving around like you're hurt or injured. Probably not the best thing to do, but it is a beautiful thing. People come out here and sometimes play music at nighttime. Sometimes they come out and stretch. It's a neat place right here. Very tribal. Right here. You can imagine how many ancient 10,000-year-old dwellings were in this area right here and around this area. This area might have had a pond or water. Things fill in after a while. Everything's interesting. Shark Fin Mountain up there, 8 to 9,000 feet. From where I stand here on the boardwalk, 4.5 hours to get to the top. And that's with taking breaks, water breaks, oxygen breaks. Just going up Shark Fin Pass or Trail, which is the beginning of the backside of going to Shark Fin. You're talking probably 2 breaks right there for anybody who's coming from sea level. If you've been out here and hiking for a while, you're in pretty good shape. There's a chance you could probably make it up to the top of the Shark Fin Pass. Maybe taking 1 break, that's it. Water break, even in the wintertime. So it's pretty interesting. So let's just see if we can find some wildlife out and about. Now, if you come out to the boardwalk, one aspect is just walking the boardwalk a few times, early in the morning or early in the evening. How can it be early in the evening? Well, it could be early in the evening or late in the evening. But if you have a backpack, water, and some gear, you can venture out into the desert along the side of the Red Rock canyons, mountains, cliffs, whatever you want to call them. One time all of these red sandstone areas and so forth was under water, and then did the mountain and the water recede and you just have what you see, or did the mountains push up and then they eroded over time through rain and weather, snow, and so forth? That's the question. Do a little research and you'll get some answers. Conclusive? I don't know. Everybody's got answers. I see a bird. You say, what kind of dwellings? These are the dwellings. Some of them are with sticks and teepee looking like. And then they have some brush that goes over it. And I'm sure there's other dwellings that were here that were made out of stone and carved out of stone. So there's lots of dwellings here. Especially up in there, there's lots of dwellings, right up in there. That whole area for dwellings. Tucked away with the trees and the shade. That's been there for, it's probably been there for thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of years. And new trees keep growing. Why? Because there's water, there's spring water in there, and it's shelter from the wind and the northwest winds coming over the mountains. It's all sheltered. And on this side there's less trees because the wind and the spring water doesn't get to as much. But this is a pretty much spring water area right in this area where we're talking about. so you can follow the path of the growth. And that's how you can find out where all the spring water is. Let's keep going. I've mentioned in some of my videos that there's lots of stone cave carvings out and about up there. And some are just open dwellings and some go deep in. And my recommendation in the wintertime, where things hibernate and hang out and snakes and so forth, I wouldn't be going into any of those deep caves and so forth, because you're asking for trouble in the desert with the cones of critters. I put this on first because that stops from any fuel coming out. Because if you put this on first, I'm assuming fuel will start to come out of that nozzle. So you probably want to put this on first, then the tank on last. And then once you have it on, you're pretty much ready to go. You can use a pan, okay, just like so. And you can put water in it, and you can close it like that, and close it like this so that it breathes a little. Or if you want to, you can close it. Now I'm going to invent a little handle for this, so when it does get hot, I can pick this up and it won't be super hot, unless I use like a little towel. And I'll use a towel for today. Let's see how it works. Here we go. Add some water. One small added feature is I purchased a stainless steel tank so that after I get done boiling my water, I can put it in my tank. If I want to boil eggs, when I'm done with the water, I can put it in the tank. The water will have a little bit of an egg taste, but it's no big deal. So let's give it a whirl. So without it being dark outside, you're not going to be able to see the flame. Also, too, this button here you push for the butane, but you do not push that button down for the propane. All you do is turn the nozzle on, and you'll hear it click, and you'll see the flames. So there is flames, and I'll show you. There are the flames. So I have it on high right now, and let's put this on. And see how long it takes for it to work. Put some eggs in and we're set. This gets connected first. In theory, this black piece gets connected first, and you turn it on. And this lever right here, which is like a little spring, gets level to the black plastic. When you have a butane tank, you'll see that there's a little gap right here. Well, that little gap, when this can goes in here, it actually just sits in here. There's no nozzle, there's nothing to twist on. You just take this red cap off, and then to engage the butane into the system, you push this lever down. Do not push this lever down when you use the propane adapter. And this is a propane tank. This is a butane can. Okay, tank, butane can. Okay, Coleman butane fuel. Coleman propane. Propane is better for altitude, temperatures and colder temperatures. Butane is for higher temperatures above 32 degrees Fahrenheit and also more towards sea level for the butane. Once you have that adapter on, then you hook on this piece, and then you hook on the propane tank. One other little added note, this is a interchangeable, okay, packable. So this is how it has to be when you cook on it and when you ship it. and pack it, you flip it back upside down. Remember to always flip it upside down to cook on it. So we're going to start this up. If you don't, this here will be too close to the base of your cooking utensil. So we are now on, and we'll place this on. Just like so. Next thing is you take these butane tank, set it away from your flames, check your area, and you should start to see it to boil. Should start to see it boil with little air bubbles. When I see little air bubbles, that means the water's hot enough in order to make tea. So if it was just water in there and I saw a few bubbles coming up, just ever so small, like 1/16 of an inch coming up, then I would stop, because too hot is too hot. Notice this lever is upwards, and only push this down when there's butane. This is propane. So you have the adapter going to the propane tank. So do not push this down. Now I'm going to turn this down a little bit, right about here, and we should be good. So it's about halfway. One of the things I use is a large spoon to take the eggs out, and then I place them back in the container. If you don't want to put them in the container, you can put them in cold water first, and then you can put them into the container. So since I don't have another container to put them in for cold water, I'm just going to take them out of here and place them into here. So we're going to call this curbside cooking. Curbside cooking. And notice that I'm next to a curb. I'm on the macadam, and everything's fine. Now, what is the golden rule to curbside cooking? Getting down next to the cooking is important, and utilizing a knee pad. A knee pad is a key ingredient to surviving your legs. Now, the wind is blowing some of the heat. So if I had this barrier around this, this would heat up so much faster. So much faster. And all I'd have to do is put this inside this box, and it would heat right up. And it would be no problem at all to cook this that much faster. So that's it. So we'll see what happens. Let's see how it looks. It's getting there. It's getting there. Really close. I think by having a barrier would tremendously change the speed of the cooking and how hot it got so fast. And I actually have a cardboard box that the stove came in, and the only thing I'd have to do, believe it or not, is modify it, take some aluminum foil, put aluminum foil around the interior of the box, and that would be a shield for wind, and it would really make this go quick. Well, we're starting to get a few bubbles. This is really taking longer than I've ever thought. I think it's because I don't have a protection windscreen on it, but that's besides the point. So it should be boiling soon. Put the lid back on and see what happens. Portable dual fuel stove. Just remember, do not push that lever down when you're using a propane tank. The only time you push that lever down is when you use a butane tank that goes inside this canister. I think the optimal goal would have been to have this as a piece of metal container versus an aluminum stainless steel container. Now, stainless steel would be great to keep things warm, but in means of heating it up, it is absolutely not a great conductor of heat. So that's why a metal pot with a copper bottom, and copper absorbs heat tremendously fast, would be better. And we'll test out a metal and copper pot. This is an aluminum container that you would put things in after you cook it so that it would stay warm and heated inside of it. So we finally got it boiling, and the only reason it didn't boil is because it's an aluminum stainless steel pot and not a copper and metal pot. So we'll leave that go for 3 minutes and go from here, and then just put the other eggs in, and hopefully they'll be finished right up. Now, on any new stainless steel container, they tell you to wash it out, okay? And I put some alcohol in it. I think 91% proof. And this is dozen eggs is all hard boiled. I'm going to put some of this these dozen eggs are hard boiled. I'm going to put some of this right here inside this container, swash it around, spill it out, and then pour the remainder hot water inside the container, and I'll make tea. All right, so the first batch of 6 eggs is completed, and we have more eggs just put in. We set the timer for 5 minutes. Let's see what happens. Water was boiling completely, and it'll be up and running very shortly. I did also purchase an adapter that connects to inside this, where this connects to this piece right here, that it goes on there, and there's a 5-foot hose that goes to a large propane 5-gallon tank. Really big tanks. So that way, if you want to cook more for longer time periods, you can. These particular propane tanks are good probably for half an hour to an hour. Butane is also about half an hour to an hour, depending on temperature, altitude, and where you're at, and wind and so forth. So we got the eggs boiling. And we'll let that boil. And 5 minutes from now, they should be done. So, thanks for joining me. Today's education and safety. Just remember, when you use the propane tank, do not push this button down. And if you ask what model it is, right there it is. It's a GS-3400P, portable dual fuel, 8,000 BTU, gas 1. the box it comes in, save the box, and utilize it by cutting it. And I'll show you what I'm going to do with it. But you can use it to store your gas one stove, and also to cook in wind to keep the flame from being more, I guess, efficient, you would say. Efficient. Well, that's 5 minutes. 5 minutes of boiling. And I think they're pretty much done. So I'm just going to let them cool, take them out, and place them next to their other companions in that spot right there. And then I'm going to take some water, place it inside this, splash it around, put the lid on this, and then take the remainder water, put it in there, and then I have some water that's hot for tea. Let this cool down, pack everything away, undo the butane tank first from the connected, then undo the brass piece from the adapter, and then take the adapter off, place that away, put everything back, and we're all good. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the little added cooking stove process and enjoy that. And just wanted to show you some stuff and doing some research and development myself and see where it goes. So until next time, enjoy yourselves, take your time, and be patient and enjoy the outdoors environment.